Let's talk about sex,
baby. Let's talk about you and me.
We're talking about sex. I wanted to start this off with a bang because we started. Pun not intended, but intended. I was scrolling through our Instagram, our TikTok, and there was a video where Drew was kind of sharing the craziest thing she did to get a man's attention, and a lot of the comments were from men, and I realized that a lot of men do watch this podcast.
A lot of men are on TikTok. Isn't that bizarre to you?
No.
Yes. Like, why TikTok
Probably an equal
specifically?
ratio as women.
I think all social media platforms have men and women.
But I think what I see is men are always in the comment section on TikTok. Always. Like, go scroll through it and like really pay attention.
Okay.
Because someone else brought this up to me too and was like, why is there so many men on TikTok?
Well,
why wouldn't there be?
There's only so many genders to choose from.
I'm just saying. I notice a huge difference between TikTok and Instagram.
Fair. But what I found interesting is that when I think about us, it's like three women, like sleepover. I'm thinking other women want to watch us.
Yeah.
But it makes sense that men want to watch us. And I actually had this conversation where somebody was like, oh, let me see your podcast. I'm like, you're a man. You don't want to see. He was like, you guys are giving a perspective of what you like, dating, this, that. So, of course, men want to watch to get the inside scoop. And I was like, that makes sense. So, with that being said, since there's men watching this and we have your attention, I wanted to talk about misconceptions when it comes to women and what they like in the bedroom.
Yes.
Because I feel like from the conversations that I have with my friends, a lot of women don't experience orgasms, but they fake it till they make it to please the man. So men are just out here thinking that they're doing the right thing because women don't want to share, like, hey, no, I didn't reach that, because they want to like please the guy for whatever reason.
It's like an epidemic that's been going on since the dawn of time. Women have been lying to you, okay? They have been faking orgasms. I feel like most men know that. If you don't know that, like, okay, I'm happy you're tuning in because we've been lying to you.
I think it's more so with like dating though, like more so the newer relationships or the casual relationships. I really hope that as people get into more serious relationships, that conversation is open.
Yeah.
Because
I'm gonna tell you how I feel.
1,000%.
I'm gonna tell you how I feel.
1,000%.
So I really hope that if you are in a serious relationship and you are still not telling your partner that you are not being satisfied, this is your time to hear it from us. Tell them. It's for your own good.
Yeah.
That goes for guys and girls.
Yeah.
Get you some.
Yes. Enjoy yourself in the bedroom.
You deserve to have your toes curled.
Yes.
You do.
Yes,
You do.
100%.
But it's so true that I think the number one reason why I used to fake it was because I didn't want the guy to feel bad, or I didn't want to bruise his ego. But it's like, wait, sex is supposed to be about both of us. We are both supposed to be having a good time.
Let's talk about that, because I feel like, at least when I was growing up, my feeling was like you had like the goal was to please the man.
Get the man off.
And only that. Like, screw you.
Shame.
Do everything for the man to make him feel good, or put on a performance, but it's supposed to be equal.
Yeah, no, 1,000%.
I never ever thought of it like that.
Really?
No, not
Good
once.
for you.
I never thought like it was a thing. If anything, I thought it was the other way around.
Well,
I thought I was supposed to be the one that was like impressed. Like, you better impress me.
I love
That's
that.
awesome.
Because I don't know.
I was
love
reading
that.
Cosmo, and everything in like Cosmopolitan at the time was like how to please him, how to give the best blow.
The patriarchy for you.
No, for sure.
You know,
For
so
sure.
everything I read was like how you can be better, how you can please your man. So you're reading this as like, you know, a teenage girl, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to give the perfect BJ.
Yeah.
No, I 100% agree with that. I think that is what leads people to believe that, because like we have a role. Like all of a sudden we were going to like work as soon as we go to bed. But I think the reason I viewed it that way honestly was because I'm like, you're gonna get yours no matter what. This is just biologically.
Yeah.
You don't have to do much. It's just gonna happen for you.
Yeah.
And kudos to you. Wonderful. You are very blessed in that way. But also you take your pants off and that's it. Like as a woman, I felt like women are so much more vulnerable in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And like when you're naked especially, and also just like there's a lot going on in a woman's body. So I always felt like I should be the one that gets the special treatment.
It's very refreshing to hear you say that, because Dylan is the first person I've been with who said sex is meant to like for the woman to get off. So we need to make sure we figure this out so that you are having a pleasurable experience.
I love that. Communication is so beautiful.
Yeah,
when
because
it comes to that.
that's never been the case.
That's the problem.
Correct.
Like, yes, Dylan is wonderful, but he's not. He should be praised, obviously, for that. But as a reminder to all men out there, that should be the norm.
Yes.
Like, you shouldn't be like, well, that shouldn't be who you aspire to be like when you're grown. You should be like that from the beginning. The minute you decide to become sexually active, you should be empathetic enough and selfless enough to understand that if there are two people in that room, but we have all dated men who don't care.
Mostly. No, literally up until Dylan, they didn't care.
That's crazy.
And not even care. Just think that what they're doing is like amazing without communication. That's what I'm saying. It's like just because you're getting off doesn't mean your partner is.
No.
And women are complex. So yes, like during the journey, it could seem like it's enjoyable, and it is very enjoyable, but that doesn't mean that the woman has completed. And I don't think men even want to have that conversations because it's like, okay, we're both, and she's oohing and awing, and then it's like, finish, and then it's like, oh wow, wasn't that awesome? It's like, you don't even know, you didn't ask,
you didn't ask.
If you don't know that your partner is faking it, then that also doesn't make sense to me because something actually physically changes and when that has happened. So I'm very confused.
Yes.
I think.
I know. So?
No, it's true. I'm not saying I think.
Oh no.
100,000%. Men know we're faking it. So if they are acting like, woo, afterwards.
You can fake that too. Your body.
What are we talking about specifically? Well, is there like a pop or something?
It's like you cannot. To me, I don't understand how you can fake it and get away with it.
I have a lot of things
unless
to
you're
say.
Drunk.
Now knowing that, because I don't have a penis, so I don't know what it feels like. Shame on men for knowing that we didn't come, knowing that we faked it. What?
I don't think.
No. Here's the thing. I think there's that big release that you're talking about, but I think there's different levels to a woman.
Well,
but aren't you always striving for the level?
100%. But what I'm saying is, as far as
the physicality of knowing when, got it.
And there's also women that can contract down there without actually.
Well, I be Kegeling all throughout sex, just because. So that might be confusing. You know.
I hear what you're saying. I think a Kegel is completely different. I do not believe that the majority of men are not able to tell that that's fake. I think the majority of men would be like, I don't think that was
so fake. They just don't care then.
Okay, wait.
Or they're embarrassed. I think it's an embarrassing thing to be like, did you fake that?
Either they're embarrassed or they don't care. But I will say this, men, listen closely, okay? And you can clip this. I don't even care. This is how you can tell if a woman has come, all right? If she looks pretty, if she looks like she didn't come. If she comes, she's going to look like a monster, okay? At least for me, I'm not going to do my cum face, but like...
How do you know what your cum face is?
I always masturbate in the mirror. But also, even if I don't, I can like feel my face like contracting like a goblin. Like,
I see what you're saying. Like the actual O face itself.
Yeah.
I grab a pillow. I get shy.
I sometimes I will too.
With a pillow?
So if we're like doing like daytime, I'm like, don't look at me like that.
Because I get too much in my head. I need to if I don't cover my face, then I won't get there. So I'll cover my face so that I can completely be in the moment.
I do agree in the sense that I can't get there if someone is looking at me. Like if you're going downtown, like please focus on what you're doing. Do not look at me.
Who's looking up? What are they doing like this?
I've had that happen to me several times.
They're looking because it's like down and this is what you see.
Yeah, because it's like almost like you're trying to like you're
see
enjoying her enjoying it.
Are you liking it?
But it's like please don't look at me. Like focus on the task at hand.
I put a pillow on my head, especially in those scenarios because I cannot.
Listen, I say all of that to say that I'm a virgin. I know for a fact that there are women that have tried talking about it, have tried exploring their own bodies, have done this, have asked doctors. So I understand that it's so difficult for some people, and it can be a very triggering subject to talk about when you have struggled your entire adult life with with sex or intimacy in general. And I've also known men who have the same issues.
Oh, yeah.
Where like they, have their own performance issues, and that is incredibly hard to navigate and talk about as well.
Shall we give some advice?
Let's give some advice.
Shall we answer the people's questions?
I always love this part. You guys don't forget that you can you can submit either if you're feeling ballsy, you can put sex related. You can put it in the comment section, or you can DM it to us on our Instagram at RWTY podcast, or you can email it to us. All the things.
Yeah, on a rolling basis. That's just something. Keep going always.
Always.
Anytime.
And
Something
also,
pops up, send it over.
Send it. But
don't
play it safe, okay? I feel like some of these questions,
they're a
little cutesy or whatever.
Yeah.
I want juicy.
I want I had a tampon lodged in me for 3 days. Maybe not that.
Did you say that because of me?
No. Did that happen to you?
That's a whole other story. Anyway.
I
thought you were trying to be like, Jackie, you telling them to say something juicy.
No.
That's a very common thing,
that might
though.
be my favorite part that's ever happened on the podcast.
What?
That was so funny.
Was it?
Yeah, because
How messed up would it have been if she just decided to blast
Drew's
that out?
Drew's done that several times.
No, but
let me clear.
as
Can
an
I tell the story?
As an example of what she wants people to send in, she just puts your secrets on blast.
No.
Drew has done that to me on Clever so many
Yeah,
times.
Well, I
true.
can think of one.
I can think
Can
of
I
one.
tell the story?
Which one?
What? There's the one with the.
No, you can't tell that story.
But I have to clear my name.
Are you talking about the gifting one?
Yes.
Yes. That's the one I was thinking of.
Can I clear my name, or can
God.
Can I say it's not about you?
No, I'm just What? No, I do. No.
Okay, I'm not gonna say what it is.
Okay, great.
They're
gonna go back.
No, I'm
Fine.
not gonna say. Okay, so we had a.
They can't find it. They cut it out of the episode. EJ was like, it was too annoying. We couldn't hear anything anyone was saying, and it was like they couldn't make sense of it because no one spoke for 5 minutes.
I didn't know they cut it out.
Yeah, they
Okay,
cut it out.
I'm not gonna say what it was, but this is an example of me. Yes, poking fun at Jackie. Sue me. April Fool's Day is one of my favorite holidays. Okay, so
It was like November.
I'm just saying the type of person I am.
I was like, that wasn't April Fool's.
No, it wasn't for April Fool's, but I'm saying I'm the type. I like to poke fun. I like whatever. So, that we had a gift exchange. Okay, it was one of those. I won't say the name of the retailer because they rolled back their DEI program. But we had a gift exchange from a place, and I forgot one of the categories was. I can't remember what the category
Buy
was.
something that is like personal to your friendship.
Is that what it was?
It was something like that.
I feel like it was more. I was more clever with it than that, but sure. And there was
it was buy something something that you could use in the
barbecue-related.
kitchen.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
It was.
It was. It was
think
very.
it was.
One was
'Cause I wouldn't have gotten
something
the thing
that's
I got.
icy or something that's cold, and you got something that you can do the cold. You got the earrings and beers or whatever, and then the other was something that you could use in the kitchen.
So
It was very yes.
So regardless, the
Sorry.
category doesn't
Oh, I
matter.
see.
But it was an inside joke between Jackie and I, okay? And only Jackie and I knew this thing. So I was like, oh, this is going to be funny. But not because I'm going to tell the audience. I'm just going to get it for her. She's going to think it's funny because
but
of
it
the
was
thing that we
very
know.
obvious.
It was very obvious.
But okay, but this is the difference because I'm sure some people view that and be like, that's mean. I think because I'm very comfortable about sex and stuff that I viewed it as if someone got this for me on camera, I would think it was funny.
For sure.
So I think I just didn't and also on the episode, I don't know if it's still there, but I'm cracking up dying on the floor.
I thought it was hilarious, but then I
But
realized
clearly,
but
clearly, my reaction, and I did it because I didn't think you would get embarrassed or offended, which is just me just not thinking. You know,
yeah.
I thought I did it.
You
Sorry.
didn't think she'd be embarrassed? I mean, not offended, but
I didn't think,
embarrassed?
Well, knowing Jackie, I should have known because I wouldn't get embarrassed, and I was just I didn't think that through because I was like, oh, this is funny, and I wouldn't be embarrassed by it. I would just think it's funny.
Yeah,
you know?
no, totally. The whole thing is intentions behind it. I wasn't wow, Drew's trying to call me out and embarrass me. And
Sorry.
that's the thing. You're sexually liberated. You love talking about those things, which I think is amazing. And I too do I do too, to a certain extent, but then I get like really like, ooh, I don't know if I want to share this, and it's just different. You know?
I should not have gifted you that. I'm sorry.
No, you don't need to apologize for it. I'm not upset. I'm not upset about it or anything. I was embarrassed, like, because I was like, oh, like, who's in the room and how they're going to perceive me.
Or I should say, my intention was not to embarrass you, but that was, I just should have thought that through, because that clearly, if you step out of my own brain, that could be something that's embarrassing.
We had a good laugh. Like, it was funny, like, between us. It was hilarious that I was laughing. It was just the circumstance of, like, who was around. It's not a big, whatever.
I just wanted to say.
Oh, okay, yes.
Well, not to bring it up. Jesus Christ. I wasn't bringing it up to embarrass you again. I brought it up because it was like, oh, Drew did this thing. And I'm like, okay, well, let me explain.
Yeah, she brought it up because you said Drew has been known to
Yeah. Oh, but when I said that
response, that's why she said, "Let me clear my name."
Yeah.
But when I said that, I wasn't saying it in a negative way. I wasn't saying Drew's been known to do something bad. Drew's been known to like make like that's what I to clear it up.
Yes.
See, this is really good. This is how Drew and I communicate often. By the way, where it's like we're both trying to understand each other, and it's like we're saying the same thing but different things, and then it's whatever.
Yes.
Anyway, so to be clear, when I was saying Drew's known, I wasn't saying that in a way of like Drew's known to do things that are messed up.
It's fine. I don't feel.
But do you feel like that's how I said it?
No, I don't. I'm not like tripping about it at all.
Okay, great.
I just said it to explain to them what you were referring to.
Yes.
Yeah. And I wasn't explaining it to re-embarrass.
I don't feel re-embarrassed.
Okay. Anytime someone says something about someone, then that person has the right to respond.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So I think that was good on both.
I think, me too. I feel fine.
Anywho, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, don't go.
Oh.
Fire alarms going off.
If this is the last video people see of us.
Okay, so back to your questions, you guys. Yeah, and the juicier the better, so please submit. This person asked, so here I go. Love you guys since Clever, by the way.
Thank you.
Thanks, girl.
I'm 23 and I've been single my whole life. I used to be okay with that, but recently I kind of feel like I'm missing out on that experience. All my closest friends are in relationships and I feel like I'm staying behind and they are way ahead of me in that aspect. And that makes me think/feel like I'm lame. Sorry if there were any mistakes. English is not my first language. Bye.
Well, first of all, you're definitely not lame. I think it all just depends on, well, my first question is, this is why sometimes I wish that the questions were live and so we could ask follow-up questions. Because my question is like, have you not wanted to be in a relationship? Sorry, there was a siren. You know, like
fire truck's here.
The fire
There's
trucks.
two of them.
Yes,
Dang,
but
something
that's why
really happened.
No, it didn't.
No, they have to.
Come
they have
turn
to
it off.
deploy the engines every time.
That's why it's like a federal offense, because it's like,
wow.
They have other stuff they got to do, you know?
Dang,
Yeah, we live in California. It's actually the rudest thing you can possibly do to pull a fire alarm.
And it happens all the time here.
Dang.
Real life drama happening right now here in the Valley in Los Angeles, California.
Reporting live from
Wait,
the
but really quick,
RWTY.
just real quick, you guys, hold this. I just want to see if any of them are hot. Because I was talking about this to my friend the other day.
Are hot.
Like,
Oh, I love firemen. No, I love firemen.
well, let us know.
That used to be like, I sought out to date a fireman. Yes.
No, I remember you like.
Oh, I love.
Didn't you do like a whole photo shoot with firemen in like New York or something?
Those were construction workers, but
Oh,
but
okay.
yes.
I want to see.
And it's like because that they save lives that also just, you know, they're just so selfless.
I think it's also the outfits.
And strong and
Wait, have you guys
muscular.
seen that whole Instagram page where it's dedicated to like firemen doing these photo shoots with fire?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Can you send it to me today?
No, it's amazing. Like flames are going up, they're shirtless and water's in the background.
Fire is like really awful, right? Especially living in California. We've seen the devastation. I totally get it. All these things. But there's something also very like romantic about fire, which sounds awful, but there is like, it's red, it's burning, it's passion, like
yeah.
Candles.
Yeah, and it's like in a lot of Yes, and in a lot of like poetry and like early 18th century literature, we're talking about like burning passion fire in her loins, all these things. So like there already is this idea, I think, in just subconsciously in our brains that there's something very like about fire specifically, and that's
they're
why
like heroes. That's what it is. Everyone loves a hero.
Or like when you're like, oh my god, like oh yeah, I was with a man last night. And it was just like fireworks, like all these things. We use all these words to romanticize things or whatever it means so much. So I think that has put in a lot of our brains that firemen are just naturally like the sexiest of all.
Yeah, like their profession. They could like not be sexy, but the profession will like make them sexy. You know,
right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And then they come and they're all like,
And they're
come save me, fireman.
right. Help! It's up here. Help!
Shout out to all the firemen.
thank you, sir.
Well, maybe they'll come up here and try to rescue us.
Maybe they're like, maybe when they come by, we should be like,
And it turned off, and that was a turn off noise. No, obviously, we don't have to tell you to don't fake fire pulling.
No.
They have things to do.
yeah, it's rude.
Okay, as I was saying, with
Yes.
the advice, it sounds like that maybe because all of your friends are in
Yes.
your relationships, you're like, oh, I want to be in a relationship too. But it's like, don't let that be the reason why you want to be in a relationship. It just should be like if you find somebody who you're like, I like this person, you know?
That's such a real thing, though. If you're constantly
100%.
surrounded by people
Yeah.
that are in relationships or married or kids or whatever, it could start feeling like, oh, am I doing something wrong? And I think that's really good advice. You have to ask yourself, is this because it's something I really do want or just because all my friends are in it?
Yeah.
But that's also very difficult and real. Like if your friends are moving on and they're not hanging out with you the same way
Right.
either.
Or you're
Yeah.
not connecting with them
Correct.
because it's no one's fault, but there's this one aspect of their lives that you cannot connect to,
Right.
like, or relate to on that level. But I will say, just honestly, you are so young. And I know that sounds like, oh my God, that's not the point. And I get it. It's not the point. But truly, when you get into a relationship, there are so many relationships, and I look back on my life and I'm just like, I could do that without that one. That would taught me
Totally.
nothing. That would
Oh
taught me
my
nothing.
God,
That would
yeah.
taught me nothing. Honestly, because I was always the type of person that was like, I want to be in a relationship. So I just dated. I was like a serial dater, and not like a dater. I was like a serial relationshipper from a young age. And my mom would always say, out of all of my kids, Sinead will be the first one to settle down. And I obviously have been, because I knew, I was like, I want to be in something stable. I want a relationship. But I will tell you right now that because of that, I am also the most dependent person on other people, and that's awful. These girls can attest to the fact that I am terrified to sleep by myself. I can't like be anywhere alone. Nowadays, even as a 33-year-old grown woman, if I have to work out of town, Nils has to go with me so that I don't stay up all night because I'm scared and miss like a call time in the morning.
Yeah, that's very
Swear to
real.
God.
It's real.
It is so real.
Yeah.
I have never lived alone in my life, and it is my one and only like huge personal life type of like growing adulting regret. Every other decision I've made that's like effed up, like my finances, opening credit cards, all that stuff taught me things that I'm just like, okay. But the one real regret where I'm like, I wish I really would have learned this lesson is that you have to be independent and know how to take care of yourself, like in here as well. And understand that like sometimes you are going to be alone and people go out of town and things like that. Can you put yourself to bed at night and not be afraid that you're going to like die? Because that's
Right.
an awful fear I have sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's because I've never lived alone.
And just enjoy your alone time, queen.
Yeah.
Like, be independent. Do all, because, once there's a person like there with you all the time, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah. So one day you're going to wake up and you're going to have a 9-year-old who's screaming at you. And you're going to be like, just kidding. I love my life. All right.
Yeah, cool.
So like to wrap this up,
Yeah.
I was like, let me just like take a gander on what people are talking about. I've been trying to avoid the internet because I'm so sick of talking about politics. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll talk about it till the cows come home. But I'm so sick of talking about this one administration that just is doing things, I think, at this point just to shock people, and it's boring me. And I wanted some lighter news. And then I realized there's a lot of things happening that we have just, I think, has gone under the radar because it's been so dark and awful lately. So I just wrote them down. I just wanted to get your thoughts.
Nice.
All right.
I'm intrigued.
So I'll start with crime-related one I saw that I just thought was interesting. So this is a Florida story, of course, as it always is. So a 32-year-old man, okay, went into a Tiffany store, and he asked to be shown like some earrings and jewelry or whatever. And so the employee comes out, he's helping them or whatever. And he made it look like he was going to buy a ring, but then just very casually was like, oh, but can I see those earrings? Now, these earrings were $770,000. $770,000. Okay?
Did they talk? Oh my God. The fire people are here now. So like, what's happening?
Maybe it's like malfunctioning. Maybe no one's been pulling it this whole time.
Just a ghost.
Is there an actual fire, you guys, and we're just being absolutely stupid by sitting here? We could jump from this floor down to the ground, right? Oh, that's right. That's right. My hair is dirty as hell, so I wouldn't be mad. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Sir.
It's a firefighter.
He was there. He had the whole garb on.
She said it was a real one.
Who did?
No, Drew, when she saw the fireman.
He's got the garb on and everything.
It was a real one. It was here.
A real firefighter.
Okay.
Okay. So he made it seem like he was going to buy a ring, but like casually was like, oh, but can I see those earrings? So the employee pulls out these earrings that are worth $770,000.
Crazy.
And this man's like, this is a great time to run out of this store, right? Okay, what he really wanted was to steal these earrings. So he scuffled with the employee, is what I read. That was a quote. With a scuffle with the employee, and runs out. Scuffle. And when they found him, they were like, we know you took the earrings. We talked to the employees. Where are they? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So they x-rayed the man, and the man had swallowed.
Oh, I heard about this.
He swallowed this pair of $770,000 earrings.
They were in him.
Who does that?
I think it's pretty common,
in his
actually.
belly. Yeah, I mean, you hear about people swallowing drugs all the time.
Or they put them up their butt or vaginas.
Sure, but
Sorry.
you're in a store where there's footage and video.
Right.
Like, and you're saying, I don't know what happened to them. Like, obviously you're caught, whether
like,
you
they're
have
not
it or not.
Big too, right?
Yeah, like the picture of the x-ray is wild. But I'm just going to say, like, if I was an employee, that's why I wanted to ask you guys. Obviously, they're not going to perform surgery. So are they waiting for this man to poop out these earrings?
Oh.
And then what are you going to do? Sell them?
I think...
So you're gonna sell booty earrings? You're gonna sell booty earrings?
Yeah, I don't know what happens. I
don't know. In some weird world, I feel like the price would go up just knowing that it came from feces.
I feel like he has to poop them out, and then they do whatever they're gonna do with them. But then he's gonna get in trouble. Obviously,
he's like handcuffed to a hospital bed because they just have to wait for him to poop.
That is disgusting.
But also, just like, how do you swallow them without choking? Without
the back of it?
I can barely get pills down.
But that's the thing, like, don't they have some kind of tracking on that kind of stuff? Like, you reselling it at this point, they already know that you took them. What is the point of swallowing them at that point? That's
right. It's like they're on to you.
They already know. What was the point of swallowing?
It's the same reason why people swallow like pounds of drugs when they're getting pulled over,
that's
right?
fair. It's like, oh, I don't have them.
It's just like a really quick
reaction,
being like, I need to get rid of these.
But they're earrings, like Chuck. Well, I guess you wanted to hold on to them. Hold on to me.
Or like put them in your undies.
Or if he's being pursued. I mean, I don't know. Like maybe he was being chased.
No, that's fair. That's fair. He wanted to keep on to them, but not. Yeah, that's fair. Wow, the extremes that we go to.
Just because we were talking about this, McDonald's has decided to use AI to finally be able to predict when their ice cream machines are going to be down. But I was just thinking, like, this isn't going to work.
Something tells me they're still going to be down and will be
like
down, and
always
AI
down.
won't help in any way.
No.
Because, okay, they'll tell you, but you know when your ice cream machines are down, you still don't do anything. You don't fix it. So
Yeah.
what do you mean?
I just think it's funny that, like, as a group of people, that they just, like, society bullied McDonald's into doing this because they became, like, the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
And when Wendy's started, like, doing their ice cream trucks around the city and stuff like that.
So good. So good.
I think all this stuff's going to break down because karmic retribution for them rolling back their DI program.
There you go. There you go.
The next story is kind of crazy, okay? So from behind bars, R. Kelly, sorry. Can't even say his name without laughing. From behind bars, R. Kelly did an interview, which also I was kind of shocked that these two women interviewed him like they were talking to anyone, because I was like, this is weird. But anyway, so from behind bars, R. Kelly wants the world to know that he has officially written 25 albums. And I was like, okay, sir, what did you think the response was going to be? Because people in the comments, well, one, it was pretty divided, but most people were just mostly annoyed by the fact that like this interview even happened, because like, why are we giving this man a platform? Which I 100% agree with. But also I just kept thinking, like, in my head, I kind of found there's like some peace in that for me, because I'm like, I feel like this man is losing his mind. Like, he's so desperate to like have his voice be heard. But I was just curious what you guys thought about R. Kelly writing music from his jail cell.
I don't like that man. I don't care what he's doing behind his jail cell. I don't have anything to say about it. I just don't like it.
I think it's upsetting for me because I know some people are probably really excited to hear his music, and by these women interviewing him and giving him a platform, sharing that he has made new music, now is opening up the doors. I've been in settings where people still want to play his music because it's nostalgic. I understand. Well, I don't understand, but
remember it was at your birthday party and we were like, turn that off. Somebody was DJing, they kept trying to put on R. Kelly.
What birthday party?
At the pool birthday party.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like multiple times.
Yeah, and we were like, can you not?
Can you not? So the idea, I'm sure the music is great too.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's
I'm
wonderful.
sure it is, yeah.
That's the saddest part about all of these things that happen.
I think that's also
Shame.
a topic that needs to be had, like some form of redemption for anybody when they do bad things. That's also another conversation.
Depending on the bad thing, but if you're a pedophile, I'm sorry.
Correct.
Also, I think there are, like, pedophilia, can be argued that it is an actual, disorder. Right. And there are plenty of people that have that same disorder that do not act on that disorder. They literally sought therapy, like professional help, in order to stay on the straight and narrow and not be an actual predator. And so I don't have a lot of sympathy for people who act on that disorder. And I think that some people don't have any redeeming qualities. And I do think R. Kelly is one of those people.
Yeah. I also think that in our society, we villainize that for the right reasons, obviously, but we don't give space because, like you said, it's a disorder. We don't give space for people to be open about it because it is just so disgusting. So those people that feel that way don't feel comfortable or open enough to seek help. So then I think it continues. You know what I mean? I think it's easier said than somebody being open to be like, I want to share with this person that I have this,
Well, that was what the podcast was saying that. It's like people are so afraid to say things that they end up not being able to get the help they need in order to not act on it.
Correct.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like, that would suck to be a pedophile.
Absolutely.
To have those thoughts and you can't do anything about
it.
And I know that R. Kelly was molested himself, so it's like that's a whole other thing. But then the act on, I just think of like the parents of the people who, and I'm not even just talking about with R. Kelly's specific situation, I'm just talking about like in general with pedophilia, like the parents of the victims, like I don't think that they have any room for any type of, oh yeah, I want retribute. They're like, fuck that, No,
100%. There's consequences for everything that you do. And I think the consequences for R. Kelly is that forever, no one should be listening to your music. And then also, like, if you think about his old music and you're connecting the dots, it's very disturbing. And so to give him a platform I think that's going to be the next step. If he's written 25 albums, people are forgiving. It's the same thing that happened with Chris Brown. It's a little bit different, obviously. But, he took a couple of years off and then people, forgot about what he did. And then, there's redemption in that. And I think there should be. But I agree with like the whole R. Kelly thing. There's just some things that
cannot be forgiven.
Can't be forgiven. And there's consequences. And I think that there should have never been an interview. Because that's what's going to happen now.
No, for sure. Because that's like, who's going to be the person now? Because now that door has been opened, who is going to be the person now that's going to make that music available?
Well, good luck whoever wants to work with him.
Well, the reality is like 50 years from now, that music's going to be back on in bars and clubs and things like that. Because how many times do you find out that like people whose music and things from the 50s and 60s were terrible people. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, like we don't know everything.
Yeah.
So that is going to happen, but it is interesting to see that was the first time I've seen any sort of way.
Well, I won't
Sorry.
be listening to it. If
Yeah.
it comes out, I
Yeah,
personally
no.
won't be listening
But
to
I
it.
think, but I do think there's like a weird like either like I shouldn't say forgiveness is not weird, but it's like people excuse some people for certain things. Like I will never understand how people are still like Team Kanye. Like,
The reason, I think you are right. The reason is they love the art, and it kills them to like not be able to separate those two things. Because if they separate them and try to find reasons to forgive them, then they can justify why they still want to listen to that music and all that stuff. And I'm not denying that people genuinely love Kanye's music. They genuinely love R. Kelly music. I'm not saying that that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the reason why people are forgiving of those certain people is because they just want to be able to like publicly like that stuff.
But I think it's fine to acknowledge that, like, yeah, R. Kelly had great music and Kanye has great music. But I'm talking about when people like defend like Kanye like as a person.
But that's because they idolize him because of the art. So they're more likely to defend someone
But, like,
who's
dear
made
God, to
something
what extent?
No, I agree. But I've definitely noticed a trend in who we forgive, and it's usually the people that we can all agree has created wonderful art, honestly.
Well, I think it's just also complex. I think humans, it's not always so black and white. You know what I mean? And you want to believe that people can do better, be better. And I think there is beauty in forgiveness, and there's beauty in letting someone evolve as a human. But it gets
if they
complicated.
evolve, yeah.
What was that?
I said, yeah, if they evolve.
If they evolve, correct.
Yeah.
He just keeps getting worse.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah,
with
both of
Kanye,
them.
it's-
And that's, I used to be a huge Kanye fan. I paid to go to his concert. I used to love Kanye.
Yeah.
So it's just shame, you know?
I mean, Kanye is like...
I think the most recent things you just,
That's
at
what I'm
this
saying.
point, it's like,
He's been...
ooh,
like R.
yeah.
Kelly is delusional. There's something seriously wrong in that man's head. Kanye like absolutely knows what he's doing. And then I read somewhere the other day.
I think, I don't know. I have no idea.
No, he does. And someone was like, wow, the genius of his craft. Like he's trolling all of us. You guys, don't you get that's the bigger picture? I'm like, does you think that excuses this?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I get it. You're trolling us. So, you know,
Like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
but
fine.
I
Yeah.
also think, and like, sorry, I know the whole point of this whole segment is for us to not to talk about politics, but I'm just saying, like,
fine.
living in a society where we allow who's in our office and the administration and the Elon Musk of it all, it's like, things just kind of go out the window when it comes to like excusing certain behaviors because it's normalized now for like literally the highest position to
100%.
be held by someone, you know? who's
Yeah, we're living in a
insane.
circus. Like everything
We're
just
living in a
it's-
circus.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Last one.
Oh, okay.
Just because I've seen this like everywhere recently, and I wanted to get your guys' take. Like, when is it an invasion of privacy, or is this something that we should be talking more about? Polyamory. Okay, so like obviously, I love it. Here's the thing. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen like Neo and being polyamorous. It's just been all over, and I know polyamory is like another thing that eventually will become more talked about and things like that. But it's one of those things that, you know, people are still like unsure about, and I get it because we're unsure about things we don't know about, and polyamory isn't talked about as much as some of these other topics.
Is it about to be the
whatever.
Neo thing?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The reason why this has been popping up all over the place is because like people seem very obsessed with Neo's polyamorous life, but at the same time, Neo's out here doing all these interviews talking about how polyamorous he is. So I was just curious because I remember when I was in hosting class, there was a guy who was polyamorous, and we were doing like fake hosting things, like trying to learn. And the guy got up and they were like, okay, now, you know, pick something personal to you and start talking about it. And he started talking about how he's in a polyamorous relationship. And everyone stopped, and we were all just like looking at him. And then he was standing there like he's supposed to get critiqued. And my hosting teacher, you guys know who she is at this point, but my hosting teacher was like, wait, can we just like talk about this? And like we were all like laughing, and we were just like, no, tell us. And the way he explained it, and I was like, wow, this is so fascinating, because some of these people, I think it's like become kind of like a gimmick or a headline or whatever, but there are really people out there 100% who have been polyamorous before polyamory became like a hot topic word.
Yeah.
So I just want to know, when do you think it becomes like, are we just being nosy because it's an interesting topic? Or is there more to polyamory? Is there a reason why we're obsessed with wanting to know about your many women in your house?
I think it's because it goes against the grain and it goes against societal norms. So people are fixated on it because that's what I think we just do wrong as humans. We feel like this is how you're supposed to live. And if you don't live this way, then it's intriguing, it's weird, you're fixated on it.
And we're entitled to like you have to tell us about it.
You need to let us know because this is how you're supposed to live as a human. This is how you're supposed to love. This is what a relationship does look like. And when somebody's not following in that, or is not following suit to the way society thinks you should live, people get all up in arms about it. And I always thought that was really weird. It's like, let people love the way that they want to love. And just because you don't understand it and you deem it as like, oh, he doesn't really love those women. How do you know? How do you know? And why do you think because this man has more than one person that he doesn't love? It's just because you don't have that love or you don't see love that way doesn't mean that he doesn't love. Doesn't mean he just wants a bunch of girls on his arms. Or it could be very much that could be the situation. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that are in those situations where it's like you just want to be that man. But that's you can't put that on people. And I just let people be what they want to be.
Don't you think it's kind of creepy that we're all like up in this man's business?
Well, the only reason why I think it became news was because his ex-wife didn't like that he had all the women around her kids. Which
I don't know the details about Neo.
Yeah, well, that's how I heard about it. Like the ex-wife was like, "You can do what you are gonna do, but like, don't be bringing all that around like you can keep that life separate from raising our children."
Yeah,
which I completely
agree with
understand.
That. Yeah,
for sure.
How I feel is like if people want to be polyamorous, knock yourself out. If you want to be in that type of relationship, I don't care because I just don't care about generally what other humans are doing with their lives unless it harms other people. But would I ever? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It would be a dark day in hell before I would ever even consider sharing my man with another woman.
I'm way too much of a jealous psychopath for that. I would fight. The hands would be thrown all the time.
Could never.
I could never.
Yeah, hell no.
But there are plenty of people in this world are like totally, that's just their norm and they're totally fine with it. And I'm like, wow, how mature of you. Honestly, how mature of you. Because I just wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, me either. But like, whatever, if that's what you want to do, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Also, just like, does everybody have their own bedroom? Like, does everybody sleep together?
It's like some of these polyamorous relationships are very different in the sense that, like, I'm not talking sister wives. Things that I've heard more with these polyamorous relationships is like you have multiple different. It's like different lives almost, different homes that you share with different people at different times. It's very reminiscent of, I think, a lot of like Nick Cannon. Like he's spending equal time sometimes with like all these different people and what his kids and stuff like that. And when I listened to the way Bree explained it, I really put it like Bree's one of his, right? And they're kissing in some of their photos and things like that. She's like, well, we're in a relationship. And she's never put a label on it. And that was the first time where I was just like, if everyone's consenting, why the hell is it our business? It seems so weird that it's all over the internet.
That's open. That's a little bit different than polygamy, right?
Yeah.
Being open and knowing your partner has other relationships, that's completely different than having a family dynamic where it is one man
and multiple wives,
2 or 3 wives, where you guys are very much involved with each other's lives and you are a role as a unit.
Yes, like so sister wives.
Yeah.
Then yes, they have their own bedrooms. Well, if it's a sister wives type of situation, they have their own bedrooms. And like, if you ever watch those shows on TLC, well, that one guy was like an absolute
Well, that's
freak.
one example, but like, so for like. That you're talking about like the religion, like polygamy, right? Like that's like a lifestyle.
I'm talking about the way people live.
No, but I'm saying I've known couples here in Los Angeles that it's 1 man, 2 women, and they very much same room, same household type of a thing. So I think again, it just to each their own and how. But like polygamy, yeah, it's like they have 3 different homes.
If you have like 4 or 5, how you're not all gonna fit in the same bed.
I'm sorry. I'm just like.
If you have 5 girlfriends or wives, how are you all gonna fit in the same bed? You have to have multiple bedrooms.
Like in African princes, they have like 15, 16 wives, but they can financially take care of all of them. So that's the thing. So all of these wives have their own home, have their own kids, and he just this is spreading his royal oats.
I wonder if they allow the woman to also have, if she wants a whole bunch of husbands. Like, is it just like
Who?
the man can have a whole bunch of wives?
Who are you talking about?
Well,
Just in general, like those men who are in polygamous relationships, like
more-
are they cool
in
with
the Mormon faith?
No, but the couple that I knew, she brought in the woman, so it was more about she wanting to be with the other woman, and they ended up all splitting and pushed the guy out. So it wasn't even about the guy wanting the two women; it was the woman wanting the other woman.
So if you're in a throuple,
It's a lot of work.
Throuple.
if you're in a
Throuple.
throuple, is that the same thing as being polyamorous? Because isn't polyamorous just like you're not conforming to one person, and it's like what we would consider an open relationship in that sense? Isn't that what polyamorous is? Polygamy is multiple wives. That's marriage.
Yes.
But like polyamorous just means like you have multiple partners.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of work. Sounds like a lot.
Well, there was a show, I forget what it was called, but it was this concept where couples were looking for their third.
Yes.
And I found it really intriguing to see like
It's a
why
great
somebody
concept.
would want to be in a couple with somebody else and why this couple wanted an additional partner. And some of the situation, there was like a guy that was very like douchey and just wanted like multiple women.
Yeah.
There was also like this feeling of we have so much love to give and we want to experience that with somebody else. And what I found really intriguing, which you guys know, this is something that I can relate
fighting
to.
for my life to keep my face neutral.
I love it. Somebody said in the comments the other, like they were like, Sinead's expressions get me every time.
I laughed and he said that and I went, sorry. Like, I don't want to offend.
But what I can relate to when I was watching it, the people that like were interested in being a part of a couple, for me, being in a one-on-one relationship where I'm at right now in my life, not for forever, but it feels like a very daunting task. It feels like something that I don't want to put my time or energy into, and I don't want to give myself physically or have that expectation taken from me. So the idea of being with a couple that's already set in stone, they have love, they have their life, but I can then come in and be just a piece of that where I'm getting everything that I need, they're getting what they need, but there's not this like expectation as far as a marriage. That to me is appealing.
All I'm saying that if I wasn't a throuple, I wouldn't be the third, I'd be the second. Okay, I would be the one, and then I would never want to be the third. Because I just feel like from what I've seen, I've heard and seen so many situations about the throuple, it becomes incredibly complicated because people catch feelings. And I think that's a normal human thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think people can do whatever they want. I just could never be me. Like I just couldn't do it. You know? No.
Yeah, totally.
No.
That's so interesting. I hope someone, if you do consider yourself polyamorous and you have, you feel comfortable sharing, I would love to know what it
please.
looks like for you.
Yeah.
Because I think it's another thing, like I said, just a topic that hopefully will become more normal, because I think we realize more and more how many people are polyamorous. But where does being open end and polyamory start? Like, is there a difference? If you consider yourself open, do you consider yourself polyamorous?
No. So open is like you're open and you're not discussing it. It's like you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, and we're both dating other people. What the hell? In a throuple, it's like you guys are committed as a unit that you're just dating each other.
I think my question is, why not just be single?
What do you mean?
Like, if you want to date multiple people, if you want to have multiple partners, then why be in a relationship?
Because
a
that's
different
the thing.
form of a relationship.
It's not like you want to just have sex. Polyamory is like you want relationships.
Right.
Okay, but then we got to go into defining what is a relationship, because it sounds like you just want to be with multiple people. I don't mean sex. I mean like whatever that means. Like you want to spend time with multiple people. You want to have multiple people make you dinner. Like what is it?
Polyamory is an actual like sexual orientation. Like I am gay, straight. It's considered that on the internet. Gay, straight, bi, polyamorous is considered a sexual orientation. Now, I don't think it means the same thing, you know, as saying like you're heterosexual or homosexual or whatever.
Yeah.
Because that polyamory could technically refer to any gender, of course.
Some people
if it's a
don't wanna
sexual
just be
thing,
it's not only
not.
a sexual. It's some people feel like that they want to. They're multi-layered. One
They're
person,
non-monogamous.
right?
They don't believe in monogamy.
Right. So it's not about like, oh, why just be single? It's like, that's not the point. I want to be in a relationship with Sinead and Drew. Because
So you want girlfriend?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
Not
it says
like
It's
lover,
hookup,
lover.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
yeah. Girlfriend.
But that's what I'm confused about. Like,
Yeah.
what defines? Because it's
Here,
like, okay,
I'm
like,
gonna-
why do you have to put a label on it?
Well, let me
then?
read it to
Just
you.
be with multiple people.
Well, no, let me read it to you. So it says
don't get it.
polyamory, asexual orientation. Okay. Then it says it's ethical non-monogamy. So basically it's ethical because all parties are aware and agree that to non-monogamy. So we are all non-monogamous together.
So we're not cheating on each other.
Exactly. So that's why
Okay.
you're like, why don't you just be single? That's why. You don't have to be single if everyone is 100% aware, right? Now, polyamory
Okay.
can involve one relationship with multiple partners or multiple one-on-one relationships. So I guess it is both. And then it says polyamory is different from polygamy, which is the only difference really what this says is one's partners, the other one's husbands and wives. So polygamy, they're like living together because they're married, I guess.
Right.
But technically they don't have to be. You could be married to multiple people and have different homes and whatever, families, and that you would still be considered polygamous.
Yes.
I'm curious. If you feel
Yeah.
comfortable,
Yeah.
if you're out there in one of these relationships,
Yeah.
I just would love to know where does like one thing end and the other start? And have you ever been in a situation where you've caught feelings and it's become really difficult to be whatever? But I remember we asked the guy in our class, we were like, but like, how does this not get complicated? And he was like,
Right.
I think that's what everyone thinks. It's like, oh, eventually this is going to blow up in our faces. And he's like, no, I am only with people who are also polyamorous. Therefore, they live their lives like this. And therefore, everyone knows what this is. And it's not even something we talk about. It's like, we all know we're never going to be monogamous. We don't have it in our core. We are not monogamous people. So therefore, we have multiple partners and everyone knows and people know each other. And I was like, that was the weird part to me. I'm like, hey babe, can you drop me off at
Yeah.
that's the part where I'm just like, that's the part where I'm just so curious. I want to know, like, is it really as smooth as it seems?
I don't think so. I think it's all relationships are complicated, and even if you're going into it with the understanding as a human, like things probably spark up. I think it is actually more complicated when you're thinking it's not complicated because
Yes.
you guys are all on the same page. But
Yeah.
there might be those relationships where it is very smooth sailing, but I think majority it gets complicated, especially if you're with a couple that you've been together for 8 years.
Damn.
Do not use elevators. Repeat, do not use elevators.
For me, it just comes down to emotions because I don't see how you can shut off.
Yes.
Okay, I'm done. My partner's going home now, but he's going to go with her, and like how that doesn't make you feel.
But that's why people consider it a sexual orientation, because your belief is so strong. Like, you can't change the fact that you're gay or straight. These people are saying they cannot change the fact that they are non-monogamous. So where we don't understand like
Right.
how you don't catch feelings or how you don't get like jealous or whatever, that's why it's considered an orientation. Because for them, they're saying I cannot change.
They don't process that.
But I think that's why I was asking if it's like a sexual thing, because if it is technically like an orientation, it's like what you are attracted to or whatever. So is it like you get turned on because you know they're going with someone else?
No, I don't. Yeah, but I don't think you can say orientation necessarily means like attraction. Even though you're right, I think it's more like orientation just means like this is it. This is, you know what I'm saying? What am I trying to say? You know what I think?
Yes, no, I think it's complicated because it's like because I'm straight, I like men, I like their anatomy, right? So it's like, or if you're gay, you like the same sex, or if you're, all the other ones. But it's like if polyamory or whatever it is
Someone doesn't
an
feel love that
orientation.
way, like possess. Like,
Right.
I'm using that word, but follow me. Like you're not my possession. You're not mine. Like, so if I'm sharing you with someone, it's not this like feeling of like, oh my gosh, jealousy, or oh my gosh,
Right.
that's mine and I'm upset or whatever. It's that feeling does not exist because love is thing that is meant to be spread out, meant to share. So it's not this thing of like, that is mine and I'm giving it away. It's like, this is mine and I enjoy it the way I enjoy it, and this person's going to enjoy it and that person's going to enjoy it, and it's all one thing.
That would drive
But
me
the
crazy.
the gay straight thing that you were saying, the reason why I say you can't say it's about attraction, because it's like even if sex wasn't in the cards, right? Like, you want to marry this, you want to be with this type of person, like this gender, whatever. So in the same way that you're going to marry a man one day, these people know they're never going to get married one day. So it's like, does that make sense?
Maybe I just am understanding orientation wrong. I think I've always understood your sexual orientation as what you're attracted to sexually.
Well, I mean, asexual is an orientation and they have no attraction to anything.
But it's defined because they're not sexually attracted to anything. To me, it always like comes down to, you know.
I see what you mean, like sex.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's.
Is it not? Is that not what it is?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think you can just say it's immediately just like who or what or if, you know, when just about sex in general. I think being heterosexual or homosexual is more than just like I only want to have sex with this gender. I think it's literally like it's like you can't say that because it's like if I say attract, then it still brings up the same thing.
Well, that's because the only reason why I'm heterosexual is because I'm attracted to men and I'm not attracted to women or non-binary people, you know?
Oh my gosh, can we have a guest on?
Someone who's polyamorous?
Yes.
We got to find one.
We got to find another Mike. I have someone.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh my God, bring them on. If they're comfortable talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. That would
Well,
be
I don't
great.
know them, but anyway.
If they'd be down, I would love to ask.
I would love that.
Me too.
It says it's not solely about sex because it includes a person's sense of identity. So it's the way you identify as well based on your sexual attractions or lack thereof, or your emotional, romantic attractions.
That
Okay.
totally makes sense.
Right. So like she was saying emotional, there are
Correct.
people that the thing I was like, what? When you were like, you have so much love to give. That's not to say that isn't 100% real because for some people it really isn't about sex. It's about what you are, like how you want to show love or your emotions
Right.
and things like that.
Right.
But I think that's why it becomes a
Fascinating.
sexual orientation because those people, the same way I can't change the fact who I'm attracted to, they're saying that they cannot change the fact that they are not monogamous. That's just how they identify at their core.
Got it.
It's so interesting.
It is interesting.
really
That's
is.
why I was so into psychology in school because I'm fascinated by how the human brain works and like why people feel the way that, you know, like it's all interesting.
Amarion just came out. He did an interview on a talk show where he was saying that he doesn't believe any man is monogamous. And it's good that we're having these conversations because as soon as, I don't agree with this, but as soon as women come to the understanding that every single man is that way, people can live with their true
It sounds like he just wants to cheat and wants an excuse.
Yeah, no, 100%. I was like, okay, shut up.
I think that like there's an argument to be made about humans in general. Like, were we
animals.
Like, yes,
Yeah.
we're animals. We
Yeah.
were created to procreate. Like, or if you don't believe we were created, like just biologically, right? We are intended to procreate. Like, honestly, our bodies want to create life. They want to continue to do that. And that nowhere is your body wanting to be with one person forever. They just want you to do the thing that helps you procreate. So
Right.
I think
that's a moral or character thing. If you're committing to someone, then you should stand by that commitment.
For
And
sure.
if you can't,
That's
like
a-
what you
it's
said,
a-
Drew, it's like just be single
Yes.
and let people know what your intentions are.
Then
but-
you you can play house with anybody you want if you're single.
But you can't.
Move
You
from
can't
one house to the
also.
next.
You can't call yourself polyamorous because you want to be. You want to
Yes.
be open.
Yeah. No, 100%.
You want to be out in these streets. So the easiest way for you to do that is be like, well, you know what? In fact, I am polyamorous.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that I got from that guy who was like, this is not something I choose. This is who I am. I am polyamorous, and it was
Interesting.
so interesting because it was like the first time I think I had ever seen it as not a choice. Like that is just, he's just like, I was born this way. And you're just like, what? It's harder to put that into the same perspective as you would as saying like heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual.
I would love to know the percentage of how many women identify as
polyamorous?
Yeah, because I think I've always associated with dudes who just like want to have sex with a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, that is very
I think
true.
that's the misconception.
There is
That,
a huge
like,
misconception.
Immediately when you see one guy with two women, everybody's like, the guy's making the girl do it. And, you know, and
Not
that's
making her. Obviously, she
100%.
wants to be there.
But it's like, yeah. But a lot of people don't necessarily think that women also like that openness as well.
Well, I mean, that guy said that all of the women in his polyamorous relationships, they all had their own boyfriends. So it's like,
yeah.
That's correct. This has been really.
I want to continue this conversation.
I know. Get your friend on.
your friend.
I'm going to ask the person that I know that is in a polyamorous relationship to see if she wants to come on this. But if you know
Please,
anybody or if
let
you
us know.
are, please come and chat with us because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah,
love
it
it.
really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But also, don't forget to submit advice if you have anything that you want to talk about or just like topics you want us to touch on.
oh my God, hurry up. It's going to be.
Oh my God, the final one. Thanks for
We love
watching.
you. Subscribe and listen. And we love you. Bye.
Bye.